What's going on, faithful? What's going on, Empire? This is your boy Niner Sickness Company with the Florida Mike and his beautiful little angel. You want to say hello to the Niner gang, young lady?
All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Help me welcome beautiful, lovely princess daughter of mine. I'm gonna let her introduce herself before she goes to bed because it is a school night. But she gonna represent real quick. Go ahead and say something to the people. Ari.
Hi, my name's Ariana, and Bang Bang Manor Gang Go 49.
All right. You guys
All
heard that
right.
loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah. And she took off running.
That's the way to do it. How you doing, Florida Mike? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing well. I have to give a huge shout out to our co-hosts that weren't able to make it tonight. Boston Hater, appreciate Boston Hater for this lovely microphone, man, to be able to help me sound more clear. And our brother E, man, he couldn't be in with us, but we're gonna hold it down for our crew. So we're like the Ninja Turtles, man. Once we got all four of us, man, it's turtle power. But tonight it's just me and my brother Beto, and we're gonna hold it down. Hey, real quick, I gotta give a huge shout out to the Britain Niner Empire chapter. That's right, in UK, England. They are showing up and showing out in the house. So I am putting this YouTube channel on the England Niner chapter once we get off the show. And a huge shout out to the German Niner chapter and definitely the Orlando, Florida 407/321 Orlando, Florida Niner chapter, man. And all the Niner fans worldwide. Let's get it.
Right on. Love the shout outs, man. Absolutely. Well, it is Monday, and we are back here at it with the N.W.A. podcast. As usual, there's so many changes, so many things to talk about. And one of the things that I'm going to start up with the show is make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and most importantly, hit the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time we go live. And share the video. Share the video. I don't know if you already heard, Mike, but we got a couple of promotions within the house of the 49ers. Mike
Mhm.
McDaniels was promoted to offensive coordinator, and then you got DeMeco Ryans that was promoted to defensive coordinator. I like those promotions. I want to get your thoughts. Let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And one more thing, I don't know how I forgot this. Happy Martin Luther King holiday. As we all know, Martin Luther King had a dream, and part of this show is reflective of his dream, as we have many people from all over the world and many walks of life coming together under one sun, and that's how the world should be. So, Martin Luther King, we love you. We do not forget you, and we are appreciative for everything you've done to help us be where we are today. So, yeah, let's get into it. It is always a great feeling to be able to see promotions from within and internal, because it shows that you have confidence not only in your internal staff, but you have opportunities. Because a lot of your staff gets plucked, as you're more success, and you're seeing that now. Robert Sala's gone, which was, it was going to happen eventually. And when you have these coaches and coordinators that are leaving, to keep as much as you can in house health stability. So when you got somebody that Kyle Shanahan promotes, obviously he thinks a lot of Mike McDaniel, and then we got our defensive coach coming up. That's a great thing. So I'm happy for those guys, and I hope everything works out, and hope we take off to another level.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking for all the changes. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of changes have taken place already. But before we proceed, let me just go ahead and acknowledge the viewers that are coming in. Don, welcome. Don, Jayla, and Ariel, welcome to the show. We're myself, Niner Sickness, and Florida Mike saying hello to your little girls, Don. Tom, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. Knights Golden, welcome, sir. How's everybody? Kathy Sanchez, how you doing? Welcome, welcome to the show. Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting to see. We all know that Kyle Shanahan is still going to be the play caller. We all know he's still going to call plays, but he values Mike McDaniel so much that he's willing to promote him to that position because of the run game, the way he prepares the offense, the way he prepares for games, gets everything situated for Kyle Shanahan, and he's getting more money. He may not always call the plays, but he's definitely getting more money, and that's what we all want. We want promotions and we want a raise. But I'm more excited defensively. Promoting DeMeco Ryans to our defensive coordinator, I think it's a great decision by the 49ers. Everybody talks highly about DeMeco Ryans within the organizations, outside of the organization. He was a great linebacker when he played, great teammate. They call him a coach on the field when he played. This guy's IQ is high. He's very smart, very intelligent. I expect a lot of good things from him. I expect him to be a better coordinator, and the only time will tell, than Robert Saleh ever was. I'm excited about this inside promotion. It speaks volumes to the rest of the coaches that if you do your job right, if you do your work right, you will be recognized and you will be given an opportunity to get promoted within. I like those promotions, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And like you said, valid point. It helps the players to know that they're going to have stability because when you have a guy that's been there, that's been part of the system, and he's promoted, it makes the players feel good about what's going on, and you want to keep your players happy, and also you want to make sure that you're making the right hire. So apparently, they've seen enough in him to feel like, hey, he's a good enough, credible option for us to go forward, and they made that decision. So I'm just hoping everything works out. I'm hoping that he takes us to another level. You know, we don't want to be the same. We want to be better. So, you know, and major shout out to Robert Saleh, man. You know, while he was here, I know some people had concerns about his lack of adjustments in second halves, especially with the way he approaches mobile quarterbacks, how it's been problematic for him. However, mobile quarterbacks are a problem for a lot of teams, to be honest with you. So, you know, if they're capable of extending the play and passing, that is. Not every mobile quarterback can do that, but for the ones that are effective with it, they are definitely a problem. So I appreciate what Saleh has done for this organization. Nothing but best of luck for him, except when he plays us. And I hope he does well out there and beats Boston for Boston Hater.
There you go. There you go. What's up, Javier? Reels, welcome to the N.W.A. podcast. Nice to have you. Remember, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button on your screen. Very important that you hit the like button, that thumbs up, smash that button. It helps our video to be used by YouTube in their timeline so other 49er faithful like yourself will watch our video and become part of our channel. So smash that like button, subscribe, and share. I appreciate everybody coming in. Let's get this party started. Yeah, now we got to find out who we're going to be bringing in to replace DeMeco Ryans on the linebacker. I don't know if you heard, but they brought our old quarterbacks coach.
Yeah.
The one that
his last name started with the S, right?
Yeah,
Scalabrine or something like that.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah.
He got promoted to offensive coordinator like 2 years ago when he went to the Broncos. I guess it didn't work out. He was let go, and then he went somewhere else, and he was let go. So now he was brought back to the Niners organization as a quarterbacks coach. I don't know what's going to happen to Shea Day. Then we lost our offensive line coach. He's going to go and head and follow Robert Saleh and McFleur over to the Jets. So we promoted Foster to offensive line coach. So a couple of changes here and there. Still a lot of things are going to take place. I don't know which players are going to be following Robert Saleh. We won't know that until later once free agency starts. Depends who we sign before free agency. So a lot of changes are coming, Mike. This team is not going to be the same the start of 2021 than it was at the end of 2020. It's a lot of new changes. But I'm looking forward for the challenge. I'm looking forward for a challenge. I'm looking forward to continue to support our team no matter what. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I believe in John Lynch. They're going to make the right decision. We may start the season with or without Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. That's yet to be seen. Regardless if we bring a quarterback in or not, I just think he makes too much. I don't want them to restructure his contract because he'll be tied to our team for longer. But I don't know if paying him $27 million a year for the amount of games that he's played is too much. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, a lot can happen between now and then, so it's a little bit too early for me to really know what we're doing. I mean, the obvious is there's been a lot of talk over the weekend about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
As many of you know I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan to come to San Francisco 49ers. I wanted him out of the draft. So anyone who has watched this show knows how I would love to have Deshaun Watson here. I am a strong supporter and advocate in getting Deshaun Watson. But the reality is, right now, all Deshaun Watson has reportedly it's been said is he wants out of Houston. That doesn't mean that that's going to happen. That doesn't mean that he's asking for a trade. Just says that he's unhappy there. That's really what's being reported. And then, as the media does, they'll take something and then they'll extend that to get attention, get clicks, get sales. So, him being unhappy is the start of wanting a trade, but it has yet to be said. There's nothing official right now. So at the moment, he's texting until he comes out and make it official. Hey, I'll sit out or I want to trade or whatever it may be. And until then, right now, Garoppolo's our guy for sure. But we'll see what happens. A lot can happen between now and off season. And I personally would love to have Deshaun Watson here, man. I'm all about it. And I'm gonna say this real quick. We see that Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they got Tom Brady, how it instantly changed their season, right? It's not to say that Garoppolo can't have an effect here if he comes back next year, because obviously he did go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But Deshaun Watson is a upgrade. It's not even questionable. And getting Deshaun Watson, if our line had little problems or people want to nitpick about Mike McGlinchey's, pass protection or whatever, Deshaun Watson's athletic ability will make up for all of that. He can hide a lot of your weaknesses. And as long as our defense does what they're supposed to do, Deshaun Watson will make our offense look great. It is worth some picks to give up. It is worth acquiring. You know what I mean? We have enough draft capital and I believe some assets to give up. So let's see what that is. I mean, I'm excited about the opportunity if it presents itself.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, Don, thank you for the reminder. I just put it on my screen. Completely forgot that my Lakers are playing the Dubs tonight. Go Lakers. So I put on the game right now. So if you see me look to the left a little bit, I'm catching the game on the side. But absolutely. I'm just, man, I'm just frustrated, bro, that we passed up on Deshaun. Right now, we're talking about how much are we willing to give? Are we willing to give two number ones, two number twos, possibly Nick Bosa? Some people say Fred Warner. They're talking about all these stuff, man, because they want Watson. And imagine, I mean, I know we can't revert the clock, we can't go backwards, but we had the opportunity to get Deshaun and keep all our draft picks at this point, man. But it is what it is. But I wanted to ask you, I know you're a very big advocate for Deshaun Watson. I know you love this guy. What do you consider just too much to give up for him at this point, in your opinion? What is just too much for you, for your blood?
Sure. First, let me address one point real quick. If we had drafted Deshaun Watson, we probably don't have Nick Bosa. We might not have Fred Warner. Those are the type of players that we won't have the same type of roster had we drafted him. So while we wanted him, the funny thing is the fact that we didn't draft him, and we're probably in a position to get him if he demands a trade or if he sits out or whatever. You know what's funny? Yeah, we're giving up picks now to get him, but we got everybody we wanted for the most part, and him still. So it's almost like it might have it might have not manifested to get Nick Bosa and all that. Like we would have never known about getting Nick Bosa. So, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? At this point, if he's available, we're good. And to answer your other question about what we would have to give up, I don't see us having to give up some, um, you know, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and all of our key franchise defensive guys. I think, giving up we can get Deshaun Watson without giving up those two. We have more than enough draft picks. We have some first rounds, and I mean, we can throw in Garoppolo obviously because you're not going to have Garoppolo and Watson, right? So I mean, I don't see us getting rid of Bosa. That would be unwise. That's your cornerstone defense right there, and Fred Warner's your quarterback on that side of the ball. So like, you keep those two for sure, and then you keep Watson, and I mean, you get Watson and do what you got to do, to get him, if that's what it takes. Not giving up those two, but everything outside of that, like some draft picks, throw it in Garoppolo, yeah.
Okay, so you made your point about not getting rid of Bosa or Fred Warner.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. If the Texans offer if the Texans says, listen, give us your two number ones, and either or, George Kittle or Fred Warner for Watson, and Watson's yours. But you got to give me two number ones and one of those players. If you're John Lynch, Mike, and you want Watson, which of those two players would you choose to let go, and why?
I wouldn't give up Kittle. I wouldn't give up none of our cornerstone pieces, our core guys that we value. I mean, we just made Kittle the number one highest paid tight end, and to turn around and just ditch him like that, I wouldn't do that. Like I said, if the Texans came at me with that nonsense, which I don't know if they would, because they were stupid enough to give up their top receiver to the Cardinals for little to nothing.
Hopkins.
So even though they're getting a new situation over there, and they might not have those same guys who made that decision, at the end of the day, I personally wouldn't do that. I mean, if they were going to come at us like that, I'd be like, well, give us J.J. Watt, give us Deshaun Watson, give us more than that. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't do that. I mean, they would get enough of our number one draft picks and Garoppolo and maybe something else, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I would try my best to retain our core guys, That's just me. I wouldn't want to just give up something when I feel like we can get something more. They are pretty stupid. So I guess a little bit of me is kind of their stupidity.
Ain't that the truth?
They've learned, man, because they are dumb, and plus, if Watson wants to sit it out and play that game, we might be able to get him for a better value than what we think. We might have to give up some first rounders for sure, but I don't know that we have to give up a lot of those cornerstone guys like that. You know what I mean? I definitely ain't getting entertaining giving up Bosa. That's for sure.
You would entertain?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
That's for sure. Bosa stays.
I understand he's been hurt in college. I understand he got hurt. But he tore his ACL, man. Those things happen. You can't say he's injury prone too much because of that type of injury. But he is a cornerstone defensive end. There's not many. You don't get to have players like Nick Bosa on your team very often. Just like you don't get a chance to have Deshaun Watson as your quarterback either. So I agree with you. When you have a player of the caliber of Bosa and Warner, and George Kittle, you want to retain them. Yes, we want to go after Watson, but you don't want to weaken one side of the team to get better at the other side. If they're willing to take draft capital for Deshaun Watson, then a communication and a dialogue can be made between them. But I agree. I don't want to get rid of George Kittle, Fred Warner, or Nick Bosa. I like Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa is going to be a great player. I know people say, well, he's injury prone. Well, I mean, everybody gets injured. You can't assume just because you've been hurt in college, you got hurt one time in his career, that he's going to get hurt every year. You know what I mean? So I like Bosa. I like what he does. He's a game changer on defense. So I would love to bring Deshaun Watson, Mike, but I'm agreeing with you. I wouldn't want to give up Fred Warner, nor Bosa, nor George Kittle in a trade. Garoppolo, if they want Solomon Thomas, if they want whoever else they want, we'll talk about that. But none of those three would I want to give up, man. So I'm with you. I'll give up 2 number ones. I'll even go 3 number ones. If you really want Deshaun Watson bad enough and you think he can definitely make it, I will go 3 number ones. The good thing about Deshaun Watson, and this is just all speculation because first and foremost, Deshaun Watson has not claimed that he wants a trade. He hasn't mentioned trade. So all we're doing here for the Tonight Show is speculation about what we should do, what the Niners should do to get Deshaun Watson. But until we hear from Deshaun Watson or his agent that he no longer want to be with the Houston Texans, then things can heat up. But for now, just for sake of the video and the live, I'll be willing to give up 3 number ones, preferably 2 number ones and 2 number twos for him. But if that's not enough, I don't want to give up the whole farm either. I love Deshaun Watson, but we can ride with Jimmy one more year and get to the Super Bowl as long as we keep our core together.
Yeah, I mean, there are some fans that are going to say they'll give up the whole farm, but you're going to go back to square one before in a longer rebuild at some point. I mean, the reality is, if we were hurting without an edge rush this year. Imagine not having Bosa for the rest of the year for sure if you traded him away. Because D Ford, whatever's going on with him, he's probably not going to be back, or whatever. He's been out. Nick Bosa, you let him go, then you have to address pass rush all over again. If you give up your draft capital, you're not going to do that. So you're going to have to turn to free agent and hope there's somebody out there sustainable. And you saw what edge rush options we had when Nick Bosa went down. We were getting Ziggy, who was out for the year and wanted more money originally. We was getting, all this stuff. So, like I said, I mean, let's just see. Let's just see what happens. I mean, right now, at the end of the day, it's all speculation. He hasn't really announced anything. He just said he's not happy. That's it. And the media took that, ran with it, and got a lot of fans in discussion. And that's their job. They're supposed to get fans to talk. That's how they make their living. So once something comes and unfolds as time carries on, then we'll see. We probably going to waste energy on nothing at this point because right now Watson is not available at this point. So we'll see. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely. The Boston Hater wants to come on the phone, so I'm going to bring him on.
Bring him out.
Yeah, he wants to come on. Hold on. Call in 3 minutes. Okay, Boston Hater, I just send you a text. Call in about 3 minutes. So I'm going to give you the floor, Mike. Talk to everyone as I connect these wires. Talk to the viewers, and I'll be right back.
Sure thing. I'm actually going to go ahead to the comments, man, because our fans, I see it scrolling on this. Let me go because I've been kind of peeping in and out. I haven't really been reading the comments, and I want to make sure we do not forget about our fans. Our fans are the faithful. So we got Nice Golden. We got Brother Tom. We got Don. We got everybody up in here, man. Appreciate you guys coming in. These are some loyal Niner fans. I tell you, I love all of them. So let me go in here. Let me go dip and dive in the comments real quick. Let's see. I see Tom says, Mike, we are not giving up the core, just mortgaging the future by not having draft choices. No, I mean, I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. I wouldn't want to give up the core. That's not my top goal. I wouldn't want to give up Bosa, Warner, Kittle, like all that crazy stuff. Like, no, you know what I mean? Keep our core, just build on and add on. If we gave away some draft picks, I'm fine with that. But not those key guys like that. I don't want to have to start over rebuild mode again, go all in for 1 year and then rebuild, and it takes a while, and we're back to square one again. I don't want that. I want to have consistency. So let's see here. We got Nice Golden chiming in. Let's see. Nice Golden says no more Watson talk. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I mean, that's the media. Nice Golden. They're gonna promote that doing their job, and his fans are gonna react. That's what fans do, and they know that. So uh, I get excited about Watson regardless if he was an option or not, just because I like him as a quarterback. But yeah, I feel you, brother. Um, we got Corey Davis. What's up, Corey Davis? Corey Davis says I would not give up Bosa. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a tough thing, man. That's our defensive edge rush right there. We definitely want to make sure we address that. So it seems like the fans, for the most part, are kind of in agreement with the panel. They don't want to mortgage the future to get Deshaun Watson if that's a possibility, but they are willing to give us some picks, to do so. Yeah, I totally agree with that. We shouldn't. We not, I don't think. I don't even think there's a possibility we can give up all of those core guys or some of those core guys and draft picks. I mean, that just doesn't make sense because you get that quarterback, you'll be hurting for a while. You know what I mean? Definitely on the defensive side for sure. So I don't see us doing that, man. I don't see what benefit it would be to do that. Got Don Dawson. Don says she agrees with Florida Mike. All right, Don. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it sounds a lot like our fans are pretty much on the same accord. Majority of people do not want to mortgage the future with players and draft picks, at
Yep.
least draft picks, not players in addition to that, like those type of players, franchise players, if you will, Pro Bowl Pro Bowl caliber type players. So I think it's funny when people be like, "What though is Solomon Thomas though?" Because it's almost like, well, if the Niners aren't really thrilled about him, I don't know that the other teams won't be thrilled. But then again, we're talking about Texans. I mean, hey, we'll see what happens.
Hold on, real quick, Mike.
Nah, you're good, bro. I'm enjoying the comments, man. I'm laughing at them. Lot of stuff being said, going so fast here. So yeah, but hopefully Boston Hader can join the panel, man. That'd be great, and we'll get his intake. I'm sure he'll have a different perspective, which is good. We welcome that. We welcome different perspectives. That's what the show is all about: is getting Niner fans, everybody taking about their views in a mature way, and we're seeing what's at the end of the day. We all want what's best for our team. So as long as we can agree on that, despite what kind of views we have, I mean, hey, I respect everybody's views, man. So
Oh,
it's all good. Please speak with some respect and make sure you listen to someone's views before you speak an opinion. Because a lot of times, people in general, just in life, they'll hear something. Like if I came out here and was like, said a comment, for example, and I never gave an in-depth explanation why I felt this way, that person who's receiving it, hopefully they have the maturity to say, "Hey, Mike, why you feel that way?" before they respond, because you don't know, why I'm saying what I'm saying. So, but yeah, our fans are good about that, though. I love our fans on here. I appreciate all you guys.
well, hey,
Corey
Mike.
Davis pops up. What's going on,
We
bro,
we
Corey?
have Boston Hater on the phone. What's up, Boston Hater?
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Beto? How's it going?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. Everyone, welcome the Boston Hater. He is on the phone line. He will be joining us our lives. He's on the phone there, Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Corey Davis had a question too, man. He's asking about the offensive coordinator. If you guys want to address that.
No, I can't see it anyway, but yeah, you have to read it to me.
What do you think about so he's talking about the promotion of Mike Daniels. What's your thoughts on that?
Not much. He's not going to call plays, so he's basically going to do just more of what he was already doing, getting things set up for Kyle to call plays. Just now that he's going to have the passing game as well as the running game to deal with.
Yeah. That's what I mentioned in the show earlier. He's not going to call plays. He's just going to be it's just the title and the raise that he's getting.
Yeah, it's more money, so good for him.
Absolutely. and an opportunity to get another job somewhere else later on.
Yeah. And the thing that I was looking at was you guys talking back and forth about this Deshaun Watson. I mean, all this stuff is so hypothetical, first of all, because hell, he hasn't said he wants to leave. You know, he's still there and never even mentioned wanting to leave, just mentioned being upset. But here's my take on it. If we're talking in a hypothetical world, most definitely, really when it comes down to it, if Houston was to force our hands, there's no player on our roster they can't have right now. I am more apt to part ways with guys that are not on the offensive side of the ball, you know, because that would probably be Deshaun's point of disconnect. You know, he does have a no trade clause and he can't say, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'll go here. You know? So if you told me Kittle, Fred Warner, Bosa, well, you're going to choose one of them defensive guys. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, they have some say. I don't. And the bottom line is, I don't care how good the pass rush is. How much will Nick Bosa, if you just take this year is a good example. If he was on the field, how many more games do we win? You know, just Nick Bosa. Maybe one, you know, as opposed to on the flip side, if you had Deshaun Watson for 16 games, you know, even with the injuries we had this year, how many more games do we win? Probably a playoff team, huh? No, you don't. There's no value in saying that I would keep a defensive end or a linebacker over a quarterback. The position of value is much higher when you're talking about a quarterback. Quarterbacks move the needle. They really have a big say on how many wins and losses you end up with, you know, at the end of the season. There's no way that you couldn't convince me to come up off of any player, especially on our defense, with Deshaun Watson involved in that trade. Yeah. I wouldn't give up multiple. You can't get both. You know, pick one. You want one of our stars on defense? Pick one. You know, I would really probably lean more toward, you know, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. You know, you have to start making business decisions at that point. It's like, if they told me they want one or the other, I'm probably going to give them Bosa. And not for the reasons that people probably think. You know, does Bosa move the needle more on defense than Fred Warner? Absolutely. But herein lies the problem. Nick Bosa is going to demand a $27 million a year deal. It's going to be about $10 million less. You're going to have a $40 million quarterback. You know, you got to start connecting the dots when you're doing the math. You know, $27 million edge rusher and $40 million quarterbacks, just, you know, and, not to mention maybe a $20 million left tackle. Yeah, that starts to eat up real quick. You know, you'll have a high school team out there outside of those guys eventually. So, you know, Nick Bosa would go in a business decision. That's what it would come down to. So, yeah, if I had to get rid of one, that's the reason why. George Kittle's not a factor in that because, number one, we've already paid him. If we traded him, though, all that signing bonus money, we're still on the hook for it. You know, and it was a pretty good size signing bonus, as I recall. So why would we trade him? We've already paid him. That's the wrong one to trade, you know, and he's productive, highly productive. Yeah, that's not the one to trade. The ones that haven't got the contracts are the ones that you want to look at.
Absolutely.
So, in that's about all I have. That's my perspective on that.
What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, like I said, I mean, yeah, you raised a valid point about a quarterback being more of the priority, but here's the concern that I have with trading away, because the original question was about who would we give up? Would we be willing to give up multiple players with multiple draft picks, you know, of a Fred Warner and Nick Bosa? I mean, we saw it with the Texans. You gave up some of your star power, players, even though theirs was a wide receiver. If you give up other positions as non-quarterback, you see how it can affect that team going forward. And when they had those guys, they might have not had – they didn't have the defense we had. But yeah, they made the playoffs, but you saw what happened. They got blown out by Kansas City when they got there. They had nobody to help contain Mahomes, where our defense held them to 10 points until the fourth quarter. So, yeah, granted, you would definitely need a quarterback as a priority, but you still need some pieces around that to make a Super Bowl. If you leave all those guys out and draft and trade them just to get Watson, then what do you have on defense to help? And you're assuming that Watson's going to be healthy.
Okay.
We all know that we have an
Okay.
issue with injuries in San Francisco with.
I'm going to back up. What I said is they could only get one of them. Other than that, it would have to be draft picks.
Right.
Basically,
well, I mean,
this trade would take 3 marquee draft choices / players. So if you're giving up a player of the caliber of Warner or Bosa, then you get 2 first rounders, because essentially that guy would be the third. You're not going to get him for 2. That's, so anybody even dreaming about 2 number ones and then start talking about number 2s, put that out of your mind. You're giving up 3 number ones, and you might start getting into 2s after that. So, or 3s, but you're definitely giving up 3 marquee spots. And, if it's all draft picks, you might have to give up a 4th. Who knows? Understand, when you sit up and say, I'll give up 2 number ones, you're talking about guys like Lermy Tunsil got 2 number ones. Jalen Ramsey. These guys, I mean, decent players, and Jalen Ramsey, a very good player. Khalil Mack, very good player. They don't move the needle like a quarterback. You're not going to get him for that. It's just not going to happen. So when you're talking about those little short things, you got to put that out of your mind. It's going to be more. But I'm only talking about giving up 1 marquee name. If you're giving up a marquee, it's 1.
Right. Well, and like I said, I would still stand on what I just said. I wouldn't give up Nick Bosa if it's the 1 marquee player.
Oh,
if I had to prioritize, it wouldn't be Nick Bosa.
Yeah. I wouldn't think twice about it. If they said we want 2 1s and Nick Bosa, you know what? I'd wrap him up and I would send him right along with those 2 number ones and say, send me that quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, when you brought up the contract situation, I get that. But as far as the collective of the team, like, I don't know everybody's contract in detail, but I'm looking at the fact that I know what we look like without an edge presence, and no matter how much of an upgrade Watson is, no matter how much of a quarterback is valued, we will have issues on defense to where Watson might not score every possession with a shootout. You know what I mean?
Well, but
looking at what we had this year with no pass rush, you tell me.
I'll tell you.
We had
the 5th overall defense in the NFL. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I said we had the 4th ranked passing coverage defense, but we had the 29th ranked pass rush. But you know what? There's a lot of great teams that didn't have a good pass rush. Seattle was in the mid and low 20s when they had the Legion of Boom and pass rush every year. But they were the number 1 defense because they were number 1 in the secondary. So, it's a combination. Yeah, we had a highly ranked defense because we had good coverage. And, I mean, you can still, when you look at this and it comes down to it, can you struggle because of your defense? Absolutely. But let's put it this way. I want you to tell me what's easier to come by. A decent pass rusher, a good one, or a top 5 quarterback that you could probably have for a decade or more. He's 25 years old. If you have to tell me Nick Bosa or Deshaun Watson, you decide. It's an easy choice. Just like, it frustrates me just like it frustrates Beto. Solomon Thomas or Deshaun Watson. That was not even a thought. We didn't even have a quarterback at the time. It's easy. How do you mess that one up? Yeah, I was really frustrated by that.
Yeah, I was. Like I said, I have a 2017 YouTube to prove it. No, but I get what you're saying. I mean, I'm not debating that a quarterback is not a priority. I'm just looking at the fact that, okay, yeah, our defense might have been ranked statistically, whatever, but look at the teams that we probably had great performances against. You know, most of I would assume it's our division or teams that didn't have like the Bills game. We didn't have that great defense performance. The Eagles, we didn't play great. I mean, we had some games where we looked like horrible. The Dolphins, we didn't
Okay.
play great. So
Now,
with teams that didn't have, you
now,
know, you look at our division, that's who we played better against. And our division, to me, was more down this year than last year. So, yeah, while we
well,
still managed to do well with all those injuries, we still had a lot of gaps on our defense to where, I mean, like I said, that's the thing with a quarterback like Watson. Yeah, he can carry us into the playoffs still, but it'll be like look at Seattle. Russell Wilson carries them, and then they get out in the first round. I mean, I don't. Either way, we're still going to need a complete team to be a Super Bowl caliber team. Is how I
and
feel. This is why I'm
and
saying I want to have
and
as
you
much as possible.
and you fix your team through the draft. You get your quarterback and you fix your team through the draft. You can't sit up and try to hold on to, like I said, if you're choosing between Bosa and Watson, quite frankly, if you don't choose the quarterback, I think you made a mistake.
Well, like I said
You know,
again,
especially if it's a top five quarterback, I think you made a
I
mistake.
want to make it clear though when I'm talking about Bosa, keep in mind the original question was not, you know, was dictated about giving away core guys like that. So that's where I was coming from. Now, when you're isolated into just strictly Bosa and that scenario and those picks, again, when you're talking about the cap space and Bosa's contract and things like that, I'm just simply saying that even in this topic now that we're discussing, I'm just simply saying it's going to have to be a complete team effort. Yes, you know, when you're talking about drafting, we're going to have capital that we give up as well. Because if we're talking about giving up two or three first round picks, what capital do we have to get a pass rush, an edge rusher of, you know, impact?
We don't need to have his caliber. You don't have to have that impact. We don't have to have. Nick Bosa's probably one of the top 5 pass rushers in football. But you know, if you tell me top 5 quarterback, top 5 edge rusher, give me the top 5 quarterback every day. You can come back and you can have a top 15 edge rusher to go with a top 20 that you could get there. You know, and you don't know through the draft, you could be able to pull that. Good luck pulling a top 5 quarterback. You know, when it comes to quarterbacks, I've got a different philosophy. Mike, I kind of stick with you. I'm not about giving draft capital up for most players. You know, quarterbacks move the needle in a way that no other position does. I'm not quick to give up draft capital for a guy that's not going to do that. You know, running backs, I'll laugh at you. Wide receivers, I'll laugh at you. You know, these guys don't do enough to change, you know, wins and losses. And yeah, Deshaun Watson's on a horrendous team. That's not what we would be, giving up one guy. Yeah, so, you know, and like I said, usually, you know, I'm the first one when you start talking draft picks. I'm like, nope, quick. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think me and you are in agreement on that. We both are willing to give up draft capital. I think my biggest concern is I don't want to be the Seattle Seahawks getting into the playoffs because, like you said, with Deshaun Watson, can he make us better to get in the playoffs? Sure. But what are our chances of getting into the Super Bowl?
When you say the Seattle Seahawks, understand that they spend a lot of time drafting horrendously. If you draft horrendously, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to be there. So Deshaun Watson would have to carry the entire team, just like Russell Wilson has to. You know, in the last 3-4 years, they've drafted a D-back and DK Metcalf. Those are the only 2 draft picks they've had that were worth a damn in the last 3 or 4 years. That's bad. You can't do that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be fair, brother, Boston hater, in all due respect. A draft pick or crapshoots, right? We can say the same thing about us. We've also had some draft picks that weren't really so great either. You know, we've had Solomon Thomas.
I can name in the last 4 years, I can name a whole lot more Niners than you can name Seahawks. I guarantee you that.
Sure, but again, despite how much quality of players that we've drafted better than Seattle, we still are. We still had some draft picks that we were like head scratchers. Like listen, we drafted
Sure.
we drafted
That's gonna happen.
C.J. Beathard. We drafted
That's part of the
Solomon
game.
Thomas. Right. So
Yeah,
with that
that's
being
part of the
said,
game.
we drafted guys that didn't pan out as well. And when we did, remember that running back that we drafted? I can't
Yeah,
remember his name now.
that was a shot in the dark. It was the dude
Right.
from South Carolina. Yeah, he was drafted in the 4th round.
Oh,
He never played a down for
Shottamore?
LaShawn Lattimore.
Lattimore, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, but wasn't there another running back that we drafted too that didn't get on the field also? Besides Lattimore?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Utah kid.
Yeah, for the one that
Yeah.
Shannon wanted, but he never panned out.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying
yeah,
is,
another one.
you got that Utah running back, you got Solomon Thomas, you got C.J. Beathard, like the same way we drafted guys, right, that didn't pan out, and just like Seattle did, yeah, we had better draft than them. But if you give up draft capital and you don't have that draft capital available, or even if you have some of that draft capital, it's no guarantee that we get those pieces. So, see, my concern is I don't want to be a team that's a better win team to get into the playoffs and not be complete enough to win the Super Bowl. This is why I was talking about Nick Bosa for me.
Okay, here's the thing. That's cool. I hear what you're saying, but this is what you run into with that. Okay, now you can continue to look that way, and this is what you got to understand. You see that contract that Deshaun Watson has right now?
Right.
If you keep Jimmy Garoppolo in 2 years, his contract's going to look just like that. And then you have to question, how are you going to keep Nick Bosa along with that offensive lineman, along with that? It begins to become a numbers game, and you can only move the shells around so much. You're going to give up players. You're going to see this year. Watch how many different players are in San Francisco this year than next. It's going to be very different. We're going to have a different team next year.
But I guess I'm looking at it like this. At the end of the day, every team's going to have that problem. Like Kansas City, they sign all these players, and after a couple of years or maybe next year, they're going to lose a lot of players, right? It's part of the business. So it's like if once Bosa,
year after that.
Right, once Bosa gets to that point, like I'm saying, if we can keep Bosa and then going forward, hey, once we get to that point, then we can let him go if that's the case. I'm saying I would love to keep him for at least another year or two with Watson and then prioritize Watson over him and let Bosa walk if that's the case, but not to just trade him right off the bat. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, this is what you got to understand. Even in that, you have to make a decision about them. If I know that I can't speak for Houston, but I'm going to speak for if it were me. If it were me, and you want my franchise quarterback, you're giving up somebody. It's all there is to it. Bosa, Warner, Kittle. You giving up one of them. Or you can just hang up the phone and deal with Garoppolo.
Let me ask you a question. With that being said, would you get Garoppolo with one of those guys with some first-round picks if it were you?
Would I take Garoppolo in the trade if I were them?
Right, with one of the Bosa's. So you would make the Niners keep.
I don't want Garoppolo. No.
Okay, but I'm saying Texas would need a quarterback.
I have a 4-12 football team. I'm going to start from scratch, man. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Niners would have to keep Garoppolo, is what you're saying, or find something to do with his contract.
They can trade him. They can trade him somewhere else.
They can trade him. Okay, I hear you.
And if they don't want to trade him, they've got a contract with him right now that all they're on the hook for is
they can cut him,
$2.5 million of signing bonus. They can cut him if they have to.
Yep.
It's not going to be anything. Yeah. So no.
I'm saying I believe that we can keep our core guys and get Deshaun Watson still, and then let those core guys go if that salary cap becomes an issue at that point with their contracts. Otherwise, that's just me. I would try that option first.
Like I said, I can't speak for Houston. They've done some really foolish things.
Well, Boston Hater, you're smarter than Houston.
Yeah. If it were me,
but you're talking as if it were you. We're talking about Houston. They're stupid. They're dumb. They have nothing. intelligent about them, and I'm confident that we can still get them.
Yeah, because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pair up that young defensive end with my old timer, and I'm going to try to harass some quarterbacks and see if I can put an offense together. Yeah, that's what I would do with all them picks. So
we'll see.
I mean, they don't have the same front office. They got a new GM, and they're getting a new head coach, so they might not have the same behavior that you saw with that idiot that was there that was giving away the entire team.
Very true.
Yeah. So it might be a very different look, Texans. They might not be that dumb, And I have a feeling that it's kind of hard to stay that dumb unless it's the same guy. So I don't expect them to be that foolish. Deshaun Watson is going to, first of all, that trade that I mentioned, they can get a better deal for him. They can go somewhere else and get a better deal. The thing is, Deshaun would have to be the one to really make that happen because he's got that no trade clause. And with that no trade clause, he can sit there and say, well, yeah, I'm not going to the Jets. Yeah, I'm not going to Miami. I mean, once he does that enough times, then they might have to take a deal like that from a team like us. But other than that, there's better deals to get. So, I mean, it's really like a crapshoot, and for me to accept a deal like that, being that Texas, you have to cut bait with one of those guys. And my thing is, you're not losing your core. You're just changing your core. Your core no longer has this defensive end that looks as though he's going to be, one of the perennial Pro Bowlers and maybe an All-Pro. Now you got an All-Pro quarterback instead. Okay. But you still got Warner. He's still a cornerstone. You still got Kittle. So it's not you got a lot of good pieces there. You got a lot to work with. And then, you're going to probably slap a couple of free agents in that mix, some from here, a couple from not from here. And I really have an eye on one in particular that I think is really going to make a difference. But we'll talk about that another day. Yeah. I think I already mentioned Huh?
I said this was a good convo, man. I would say it was a good convo, interesting, different perspectives, and I like that. I'm glad the fans are hearing different perspectives from both sides. At the end of the day, we both agree we want what's best for our team, no matter how we get there, and it's great that I appreciate you sharing that. So, good combo.
Yeah,
very good conversation tonight.
Good, yeah.
And the viewers asked, I believe it was Night Golden asked if you work at the hospital, and I spoke in your behalf, and I told him you were the head janitor there.
Yeah. Not in this lifetime. Yeah. Do I work at a hospital?
Well, because they hear the background.
Okay. I'm in a hospital, but I actually work in a prison. They just have a prisoner out at the hospital, so that's why you're hearing the hospital noises.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Mr. Boston Hater, he's a prison.
Watch your mouth.
I know. Is it guard? No, not guard. Officer.
Yeah, see,
officer.
There you go.
Okay, I'm correcting myself. Okay, let me correct it. He's a prison officer that is watching a prisoner at a hospital. For those that have been in the hospital in the past, if you ever see that officer standing outside the room and the guy's hung up to the bed, that is what the Boston Hater is doing. So he's an officer, not guard. Excuse me.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Yeah, gotta make sure I correct. But hey, guys, you guys were. I didn't jump in. People are like, "Hey, Beta, why you didn't jump in?" I'm like, the conversation's too good to jump in. You guys had some good topics. I mean, like you guys said, at the end of the day, we all want what's best for our team, but we have different perspectives on how to become great. Mike has his, the Boston Hater has his, and we're going to have to wait and see which way the Niners lean more, towards Mike's perspective or towards the Boston Hater's perspective. But one thing I can say for sure is that the Houston Texans, I was going to say Houston Oilers, I agree they are going to want a player in return for Deshaun. I hope not. But then again, if Deshaun doesn't want to go to the Jets, if he doesn't want to go to Miami, and they just cannot keep him happy, to the point that you guys made earlier, then at this point the Texans just have to make a decision whether they like it or not. It's just to get rid of him and get some picks. So the good thing the benefit for the Niners is that Deshaun has a no trade clause. If it wasn't for that, we have no prayer.
No, because they would just take the best deal and keep it moving.
Yep, but because he has that no trade clause, that definitely benefit. Doesn't guarantee that we'll get him, but if he does declare that he wants to leave the Texans, and if he has his eye on the Niners, if he stays stubborn, eventually that trade will be made between them and John Lynch. And beneficial.
I'm going to have to make some. I'm going to have to make some moves. I have to make some moves behind the cameras, man. I have to make some moves.
Oh man.
Got to make some moves, man. I mean, this is it. This will make up for the 2017 draft of not acquiring Deshaun Watson. This will help. I will make some moves to the best of my ability, and I really don't like the Texans right now. So
I don't dislike them.
You know me, man. I just like all who oppose San Francisco. Everybody.
Well, you know.
But there's one team I hate above all.
Boston. Oh. That's me.
I know that's your team. But there's one team I despise above all NFL teams.
Cowboys.
But I just like – I'm not saying their name. I despise them that much. But you're correct. The Cowgirls, I do despise more than everybody else.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
I just like everybody who opposes the 49ers, period. You know, when San Francisco comes to Jacksonville this coming season, I am ready. Lord will be there. And if I can go live in the stadium, I will. And I will show you how the Niner game, we will destroy Jacksonville. I don't care how rowdy their fans are, yelling, Duval. Nah. San Francisco, we're coming. Jacksonville, I can't wait.
Trevor Lawrence.
Bring him on. You saw what happened against Ohio State and LSU.
All right.
So
let's keep it nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a Clemson Tiger fan.
Keep it nice. I do have the power of disconnect. But no, I wouldn't do that. Everybody hates the Cowgirls as well. And
not everybody.
Well,
speak for yourself.
Besides,
they don't bother me in the least.
If they move to Boston, then you'll hate the Cowboys more, right?
There you go. Now we're talking.
Hey, congratulations. On that note, congratulations to Tom Brady on beating the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, watch him.
Let me tell you something, man.
You know what?
This is off the record.
For that comment.
This is off subject. I'm not going to try to bring this up because I don't want to bring into some ignorance chat that I have. But let's just say that I defended San Francisco 49ers today on a group that I'm not really a part of, but I know the people in there. And I did make it known that, in my humble opinion, there's no such thing as a GOAT. There's only a GOAT in certain eras. But I'd be damned if if I stand by myself on this, I will. I don't care. I'll be damned if I hear that Tom Brady is the GOAT of all time. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get too much into it.
Yes.
But
that's negative.
I just addressing that because I've been dealing with that, and I've been hearing people say if he wins with Tampa Bay, because keep in mind, people, I live in Florida, so these Tampa Bay fans are talking about, oh man, if he wins, you know, he's shown that he wasn't just a quarterback in the system, that he was he's this and that, and I'm like, listen, you don't lose a backup quarterbacks in the Super Bowl and be called a GOAT to me. You don't play in an era where you two-hand touch quarterbacks and you have the ability to play at longevity. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Joe Montana, Cool Joe 4-0, it took him less than 20 years to get to 4 Super Bowls. He never threw an interception in the Super Bowl. And when we're talking about Super Bowls, those are team accolades. But if you want to go there, Joe Montana never lost to no backup quarterback. That's all I know. You know, Joe Montana's never threw an interception. Yeah, or a starter for that matter. He was undefeated. He played in an era where quarterbacks got drilled, and had he played in the 2002 is when they implemented the head-to-head hit helmet, and all that stuff, protocol concussion, 2002. Tom Brady has benefited off of rules. Nope, and I'm not taking away from Tom Brady. He's a GOAT in his era. But to say all time, that's a little bit, that's absurd. When I'm gonna ask this, and I'll leave it at this. When these Brady fanatic lovers want to talk about Joe Montana not being the GOAT, and they talk about because Brady has more rings. When it comes to rings, tell me how many Dan Marino has won, and is he not a great quarterback? Is he not considered a GOAT? One of the GOATs, quarterback.
I'll put one better. You know who's more of a GOAT over Brady, in my opinion, is Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I was gonna say Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than Tom Brady. And by the way, since we're bringing it up and we're Niner fans, I'm gonna put this one out there. Dan Marino was better than Joe Montana.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and my whole point is,
don't look at these wins and losses and championships.
Right.
That's not what makes a player.
I agree.
A good player.
I agree with that.
It makes it means you were on a good team or even a great team. Yeah, it doesn't make you, a better player than that guy next to you. I mean, Jim Kelly was constantly beating on poor Dan Marino's teams. The Bills, but the Bills couldn't win Super Bowls, and Dan Marino was still better than Jim Kelly. But
yeah, I agree.
He wasn't.
I agree. If you're gonna talk about another quarterback, Dan Marino is the type of caliber guy where I could say, okay, he has a very good, strong debate. He didn't win no Super Bowls, but yet this man was a GOAT, in my humble opinion, in his era, and he can be considered one of the greats of all time. I'm not disrespecting Tom Brady. I'm not saying that he's not considered a great quarterback. I'm just saying he's not my GOAT of all time. That's crap. Joe Montana, Dan Marino certainly has that throne. They don't get the luxury of playing 20 years in their eras. Joe Montana took way less time to get to 4. It's that simple. When you do the math, they say he's gotten 8 to 8 Super Bowls. Yet, let's be honest, man. I mean,
8 or 9.
You lost to a damn backup. You have the weakest division in football for 20 years. I mean, nobody really comes out of the AFC East in the last 20 years until now. I mean, Buffalo. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to really listen to what you're saying when you talk junk about Joe Montana. I'm not having it. I'm not going to let these guys disrespect Joe Montana. It's not happening.
Well, like I said, they look at it like that, and they try to make it out to be wins. And it's almost like that same conversation you got about basketball players. The first thing they always want to do is talk about how many championships this one won. But they'll leave somebody out of the conversation that won even more. So it's not really a good barometer for how good an individual player is. Yeah, those are team athletes.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes.
Absolutely. I mean, Jerry West is the NBA logo, and he's 1-8 in the finals. Are we going to say he's not a great player? He's a freaking NBA logo.
Yeah, he's great, but there are better. Even in his era, they were better.
Sure, absolutely. But anyway, I didn't want to get too much off into that. I just had to get it off my chest because I had a lot of people today before I came on this in another group on Facebook that I had some friends on. Random people start piling up, and they was like, "You're a Niners fan, that's why you're saying that." And I'm like, "No, actually, I told you guys if you look at my original post, I consider Dan Marino as one of the best quarterbacks that I've ever seen, and I can say outside of Joe Montana, Dan Marino certainly has an argument, absolutely, but he's never won Super Bowls, and he's certainly one of the best. And I'll be damned if Tom Brady gets that accolade when I don't know that Tom Brady's better than any of those guys. Like I said, he benefited off of rule changes, a weak division, and having the longevity because they can't touch a quarterback.
Yeah, and
that's just the truth. Let Montana play for 20 years and see how many rings he got. It took Brady 20 years to get to 6. It took Montana less than 8 to get to 4.
We're talking about rings. Yeah. We're not even going to dwell on that.
Hey guys,
because the bottom line is
we're going to have to carry this This is a great conversation, great topics.
Yeah.
But we reached the hour of our show. We're going to keep it within an hour. This is a great discussion to carry forward to Friday. So guys that are listening and viewing today, if you guys want the part 2 of the Florida Mike and Boston Hater conversation, tune in on Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and we'll give you guys part 2 of these 2 heavyweights going at it. Absolutely love it.
We're not going at it.
No, it's all in fun. It's entertainment for the viewers. I know you guys very well. You guys are both know your stuff. You guys both have your own convictions of what you say, and I love it. I love you guys' perspective, both of you, and it's very insightful. And myself enjoyed it. I know the viewers enjoyed it today. This has been a great show, and we're going to continue to get better. But we're definitely going to go ahead and shut it down, and we're going to pass it over to Friday. So can't wait, guys. Can't wait for Friday for part 2 of the Florida Mike Boston Hater discussion of who is the GOAT and who isn't. Love it. Anything you guys want to say before we call it a night, guys?
I got something to say. Screw every team in the playoffs. The lesser of the evils. I hope the Bills win it all, but I don't like them either. So I'm a Niners fan. Screw everybody who opposes the San Francisco 49er. Bang, bang, Niner game.
There you go. What about you there, Boston Hater?
Man, all I got to say is I'm fine with anybody as long as that Boston boy down there in Tampa doesn't win. I'm good. Any of the other 3, I'm good with.
Absolutely. Well, I don't like the Packers. I don't want the Packers to get 5 rings. So I'm rooting for Tampa against the Packers, and then the Chiefs can tear up the Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, and we'll all be happy. But with that said,
I'd rather see the Bills win.
Tom, real quick, Night Golden says, Boston Hater, you paid too much attention to your phone and your prisoner's escaping behind you. Go and get him.
Yeah, he's right in front of me. No, not worried about it.
All right, guys. Great show. Thank you for watching in. Thank you for tuning in to the N.W.A. podcast. I am your boy, your host, Niner Sickness, accompanied with Florida Mike and the Boston Hater himself on the phone. We'll see you guys on Friday. And remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So when we go live on Friday, you do not miss on round 2 of this great topic. Until then, God bless and have a wonderful week. We're out.
Peace.
Gone. Peace, peace. Good night, everyone.